Hello everybody, I hope you guys are all enjoying today. Today we're going to be looking at Winter Storm Isaiah, which was recently named today, and we're going to be looking at the snow threat as well as the flooding threat as well as the big ice threat over parts right between that rain and snow transition line. That's where you're going to get the most ice and sleet, and some areas could pick up 2 or more inches of ice according to some models. I'm forecasting on the lighter side closer to an inch of ice, which is still very of a lot of ice accumulation, and that is definitely going to cause some really treacherous conditions on those roadways. So we're going to start off here with the National Weather Service, and we have a lot going on over much of the United States, pretty much going from coast to coast. And you see, we have in this blue winter storm watches, and then in the purples we have winter weather advisories. So that's over the northern Rockies as well as parts of the Pacific Northwest. And then we also have wind chill advisories in effect for parts of northern North Dakota and northern Minnesota, as well as winter weather advisories and winter storm watches over parts from basically Kansas, northern Missouri, eastward into Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, into even parts of Minnesota and the UP of Michigan as well. So this is a very big system, and currently it's actually situated over parts of California where it's bringing some heavy rainfall and all that over there, and that's gonna actually move down into Mexico before it moves back up north. Now we also have some flood watches in effect anywhere from northern Texas through into parts of northern Vermont and northern upstate New York. So it's it's gonna be very warm over the eastern U.S., but right behind it, as you get that cold air coming in on the backside, you're gonna get that snowfall. Also, I will have my ice, rain, snowfall, and storm track forecast at the end of the video, so you can go check that out, or you can fast forward to the end of the video as well. I did also put out my spring forecast for 2020. It's out on my channel, so if you do want to check it out, just go onto that video. It's the recent video right before this one, and you can leave a comment asking about your area and what I expect for your area, and I'll give you an individual forecast, a personal forecast. So now we're gonna get into the surface analysis map here, and we see this is your low pressure right here, and it's situated right off into Northern California. This is gonna track south and then back further north. Now we have this colder air already getting set in place while you have this little kind of clipper system. It's a very weak system, bringing some snowfall. You also have this cold front associated with this, and that's gonna bring in that cold air on the backside. Now it's a weak cold front, it's not bringing too much of a difference on either side of the cold front, but it is bringing colder air on the backside, and that's the big deal. You're going to have this cold air in place with this high pressure. We have a couple high pressures dotted around, and that's all going to be bringing that cold air from Canada on the backside. So behind it, you could even see some pretty cold conditions that will lead to some refreezing if you had some rainfall, so that could even become bigger of a deal. And you also have this high pressure over parts of really Delaware, Maryland, and Pennsylvania where they intersect. That's where you have that next high pressure that's gonna kind of block this system, and that's the reason really that you're gonna see a little bit more in the way of development as well. These two high pressures are really gonna hold this system back from moving as fast, so that's why you could get about a foot or two in these areas, because it is going to stall out for a little bit and then continue to move on. So here is the Storm Prediction Center, and this is your categorical outlook, and this is 2 days out, and I don't remember the last time I've seen this. I don't think on my YouTube channel, since I've had this YouTube channel from about July, I don't think I've ever seen a moderate risk 2 days out. So this is the first for this YouTube channel. I've seen it a couple times before that, before I had this YouTube channel, but that's over parts of northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, eastern Texas, and don't be surprised if this does get upgraded into a high risk over a very small area, but it is definitely possible that we do get that. But anyway, even if you are in this moderate risk, that's just a category. You need to be prepared either way, whether you're in a slight risk, an enhanced risk, a moderate risk, or potentially even a high risk if they do add that. And it is a fairly populated area within all three of these, within the slight, enhanced and moderate risk. We have about 30 million people living in that area. So some big population centers within these severe weather risk areas. So definitely going to be a big threat for tomorrow. Getting into your severe probabilistic threat, you're seeing this is just a general threat, but the biggest threat right now is looking to be tornadoes and hail, as well as some damaging winds as well. You have a 45% chance and a hatched area, which means that could have significant severe weather. When you have a significant severe weather, that usually means they're expecting at least a couple EF3 or more tornadoes. So a big outbreak, especially since it is January, that is going to make it even bigger of a deal. So now we're going to get into your European model as far as what it's showing. So here's your precipitation. This storm over the west right here, this is your storm. This is Winter Storm Isaiah, and this would be for pretty much what's going to be happening tomorrow morning. You see it dips down south into parts of the southern Rockies here, and then it's going to track north and eastward as we continue this. So as we're going to continue getting into Saturday morning, overnight, you see this ice threat over parts. According to the European model, we're also going to look at the GFS. According to the European model, we have this very heavy ice, and this has been very consistent. Now, the storm track is what hasn't been consistent, and that's what we need to really figure out. So you'll see on my maps, especially for snowfall, you're not seeing too crazy amounts because I'm not gonna. I don't feel confident enough right now. I will update this forecast, of course, tomorrow most likely. I don't feel confident enough putting in higher amounts, even though this could change in the blink of an eye. So as we see, you have snowfall on the northern side. Here's where you're having that severe weather, that very heavy rain, as associated with some very high CAPE index and energy indexes. So you have a lot of energy in the atmosphere now. Getting into your Saturday afternoon, now your ice is getting into areas like Chicago, into St. Louis. Will get in on some of this ice and snow on the backside. You have some very heavy snowfall on the backside as we get into Saturday night, and now into Sunday morning. The heavy ice is turning into southern Canada, so areas like Montreal now seeing some of that heavy ice according to the European model, and this is about an inch per 6 hours, or either an inch per 6 hours or inch per hour. I don't know which one it is, but either way, very heavy ice over these areas. If you are in those darker shades of coloring. Now, as we continue this, you're seeing it moves out by about Monday morning and Saturday night, and then we got our next system, and you could even see some severe weather. I am eyeing the possibility for severe weather coming in on a Wednesday, Tuesday, or Wednesday next week. So here is your total precipitation here. Actually, I want to show you this the CAPE values first. So this is your energy in the atmosphere, and you're saying you really want above a 500 at least for some weak severe weather. You want above 1,000 for a chance of a tornado or so, and if you get above 2,000, that's when you have really your outbreaks of severe weather start to occur. So as we continue this would be for Friday morning. Severe weather starting to pump up over parts of Texas, Oklahoma, and you really see as that squall line starts to develop, or that line of thunderstorms into Saturday morning starts to develop, you're going to see this very, very intense energy, joules per kilogram here. You have about 2,500 to 3,000 in some isolated locations happening over parts of Texas and Louisiana. The height of the severe weather looking to be Friday night into Saturday morning after you have all that daytime heating with some very high temperatures. Temperatures could reach around 80 or 90 in some of these areas ahead of this system, and then they'll quickly crash behind the system. So now getting into precipitation, so you're seeing about 2 to 3 inches, 5 inches in some isolated locations or over this good swath. Now once you get above around here, this is going to be mostly in the form of snowfall. So north of this black line that I'm drawing right here, this is going to be mostly in the form of snowfall, or actually it's going to go something like like this. So above here, mostly in the form of snowfall, but to the south of here, you're seeing this is pure rainfall here, and this is going to be right around 3 to 5 inches over a good swath here, coming from Oklahoma through into parts of the Great Lakes. So now we're going to get into your snowfall from the European model, and or your freezing rain first. And I couldn't find the freezing rain for the total event, but we will have to work with it. It's the freezing rain in 6-hour increments. So within this 6-hour increment, how much freezing rain has fallen, and the lighter values, of course, indicating less freezing rain falling. So you're seeing the freezing rain starts to head up with about an inch per 6 hours by Saturday morning, and then into Chicago now by about 3/4 of an inch to an inch by Saturday night. So big ice storms, and even into southern Michigan as well. Central Michigan getting in on this by Sunday morning. We're getting into Canada and the interior Northeast. Heavy freezing rain by Sunday night and into Monday morning. It's all out of here. So here's your total snowfall now, and you're seeing some values of about 20 inches of snowfall within this good swath here, especially around southern Wisconsin and northern Michigan. That's where the highest values look to be. But generally, you're getting above a 6-inch amount over a good widespread swath of land. So here's the GFS model. Quickly, we want to look at this, and now you see this low pressure starting to develop over southern Texas, and this is when it really starts to get going. It combines with this northern energy, this southern energy. You see all this moisture kind of being indicated here, coming out of the Gulf of Mexico as well. You don't have really that Pacific connection where you don't have that Pacific moisture, but this Gulf moisture, it's going to be enough to have all that moisture available. Now, you see severe thunderstorms setting up by Saturday morning, as well as that snow rain line starting to develop by Saturday morning as well. Saturday night, this is the frame. According to the GFS is trending more south than the European. So that update by tomorrow, we should have this pretty much all solved out. Now, it continues into Sunday morning, and then it continues out into the Northeast as you get into your Sunday afternoon, and Monday morning. It's all out of here again. So here's your total snowfall out of this event. And you're seeing, again, areas closer to Illinois, Iowa, Missouri now getting more snowfall, and the European is showing more into Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, and also into northernmost Michigan and into southern Wisconsin, seeing the highest values. So that's the big difference. And unfortunately, we do have a big city, Chicago, Milwaukee. Those two are right on the edge. So there's a big population center where one of these population centers are going to get a foot of snow, but we don't know which one that is going to be yet. So here is your total rainfall. No freezing rain on the GFS, unfortunately. You do see we have some areas getting pretty widespread, around 5 to 7 inches of rainfall. I wouldn't be surprised if we got around 6 to 8 inches of rainfall in some very isolated locations. So now we are going to get into my forecast right now. So here we go. This is going from the 9th, which would be today, all the way until the 13th. So that would be, I believe, Monday. So here's your low pressure, and that's over Northern California, and that's where it currently is. Now, here's your storm track. It's going to go south through the Southern Rockies, through the central United States, and into the Great Lakes. And then, as we continue this, you're going to be seeing, now this is your snowfall. You're seeing about a coating to an inch in this lightest blue shade from the central and southern Rockies through the central United States and into the northern Great Lakes, as well as the northernmost Northeast. Now, we have a 1 to 3 inch area, and we have that for parts of the centralmost Rockies, as well as parts over the Central Plains into parts of the northern Great Lakes, seeing about 1 to 3 inches. I'm leaning more to Milwaukee, seeing that heavy snowfall, as well as Green Bay, also seeing that heavy snowfall, and less towards the Chicago side of things. But this definitely could change within a heartbeat, so it's very spontaneous that this could change. And by tomorrow, again, we will have a very more a more clear idea of what's going to happen. Here's your 3 to 6 inch layer, and this is going to be over northern Kansas, southern Nebraska, through into northern Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and into Wisconsin, and into northern Michigan, as well as northern Maine. Now, we have also a 6 to 12 inch layer. This is the most snow I'm going to put on the map for now. I definitely will update this tomorrow and probably increase the values on this. We have over central and eastern Iowa into eastern Wisconsin, eastern UP of Michigan, and northernmost Michigan, as well as northern Maine, seeing 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. At least that's what I'm forecasting. And this is all my forecast, and it was hand drawn by me as well. So here's your ice. We have under 1/10 of an inch in this lightest pink shade, and that's over much of northern New England and into upstate New York. We also a 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice over parts of northern New York and into central Vermont. Also, over to these areas, really, you are going to see a lot of ice, but the way I do my maps, the snow gets overlaid on top of the ice. So you will still be seeing, I believe, in these areas, you will definitely be seeing closer to an inch, especially over to this area. This could be the bullseye for where you see an inch to 2 inches. So I apologize. That's just how the way I set up the map. So it kind of messed things up if I did kind of switch these around, but definitely tell me in the comments if you do want me to put the ice overlaid on top of the snow. That's definitely something I could change up very quickly, and that would, if you do tell me if you want to do that, I will change that for the next video, definitely. Now here's your rain over western California through the southernmost Rockies and into parts of the eastern United States. Really south of the storm track, you're going to be seeing under an inch of rainfall. Now, here's where you're seeing your 1 to 2 inch area, and this is going to be over Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, northeastward into parts of the Tennessee and Ohio Valley. Now, here is your 2 to 3 inch area, and this is going to be over parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, again, northeastward, and then also a 3 to 5 inch layer kind of hugging that storm track, and to the south of that you're seeing that over the same area, so a lot of rainfall over these areas, and then a 5 to 8 inch region also over parts of northern Arkansas, southern Missouri. So that area, that 5 to 8 inch area, that could definitely move north or south depending on what the models are showing, and also what I'm kind of seeing from all these models and what they're depicting. Sorry for the kind of longer video here, but there is so much to talk about, and I also want to get my full forecast out here, so I really do apologize for that. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you never miss video when I upload. Anyways, guys, that was Eli the Other Guy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.